and welcome to another video from me, Chris at the EBG. So, if you haven't heard already, I'm going to be live on the 8th of the 11th, which is hopefully today. This video will come out. Check it out at 9:30. My slot is on SM Battle Reports to talk about this Heresy tournament. So I'm going to do a bit of a recap video of the previous tournament. I haven't managed to get round to it. Loads of photos, a bit of videos, live videos that were on the day. And we're going to start off with this mission pack with my narrative story. Excuse the voice thing, because reading it I'd get so many errors, probably more so than what's the voice detector, purely because of how my dyslexia plays up with words moving all around. So I created this story. The first part is from the first mission, the second part when the next date is for the Shadows of Loyalty. And it just builds on, and the results from the first one affected the one of the next tournament, and it will go on and go on and build on to a more story as characters and generals do interesting things or heroic things or not so heroic will get mentioned as the story progresses in the next tournament as well. So let's have a listen. Let's see what it says.
006-014.M31. In the darkness of the void, a massive fleet of warships appeared. They were the sons of the Warmaster Horus, the favored of the Emperor and the Primarch of the Lunar Wolves Legion. Horus had turned against his father and sought to overthrow him, and his army now descended upon the galaxy like a storm. Captain Aaron Tycho of the Imperial Fists watched the ships approach with a sense of unease. He had fought alongside Horus in the Great Crusade, and he had never suspected the Warmaster's treachery. But now, as the Lunar Wolves closed in on his own legion's fleet, Tycho could feel the weight of betrayal bearing down on him. The Imperial Fists fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. Tycho watched helplessly as his ships were torn apart by the traitors' weapons. He had always been taught to stand firm in the face of adversity, but now he felt a sense of despair creeping in. As the battle raged on, Tycho heard a voice in his mind. It was the voice of his Primarch, Rogel Dorn. "Hold fast, Captain," the voice said. "Our time will come." Those words gave Tycho the strength to fight on. He rallied his men, and together they fought back against the Lunar Wolves. They were still outnumbered, but they refused to back down. They knew that their duty to the Emperor was more important than their own lives. As the battle drew to a close, Tycho stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching as the traitors' ships retreated. He knew that the Horus Heresy had only just begun, and that the galaxy was now plunged into darkness. But he also knew that the Imperial Fists would not falter. They would stand firm against the traitors, and they would fight to the last man if need be. For they were the defenders of the Emperor, the stalwart guardians of his realm. And as long as they held fast, there was still hope for the Imperium. As the Horus Heresy raged on, Captain Tycho of the Imperial Fists found himself leading his legion in a desperate battle against the traitor forces on the planet of Verdun 6. The planet was a vital strategic location, and both sides knew that whoever controlled it would have a significant advantage in the war. Verdun 6 was a barren world, covered in dust and ash. The few settlements on its surface had long since been abandoned, leaving behind only ruins and debris. But beneath the planet's surface lay a vast network of tunnels and caverns, which both sides used to their advantage in the battle. The fighting was brutal and unforgiving. The traitors, led by Horus himself, fought with a ferocity that Tycho had never seen before. But the Imperial Fists were no slouches either, and their tactics and discipline allowed them to hold their ground against the enemy onslaught. As the battle raged on, Tycho received word that the nearby planet of Maragrian 7 was also under attack by the traitors. Maragrian 7 was a desert world, known for its fierce sandstorms and treacherous terrain. It was home to several important Imperial installations, including a large munitions factory that produced much of the ammunition used by the Imperial war machine. Tycho knew that he couldn't leave Verdun 6 unguarded, but he also knew that he couldn't allow Maragrian 7 to fall into the hands of the traitors. So he made the difficult decision to split his forces, sending a portion of his legion to Moragrian 7 while he himself remained on Verdran 6 to hold the line. The decision proved to be a wise one. The Imperial Fists were able to repel the traitor forces on both planets, thanks in large part to Tycho's tactical acumen and the unwavering determination of his soldiers. But the victory came at a heavy cost. Thousands of Imperial Fists had died in the fighting, and this war had only just begun. As Tycho surveyed the wreckage of Verdran 6, he knew that he and his legion were up to the challenge. For they were the defenders of the Emperor, and they would never surrender. As the battle intensified across Verdran 6, many other legions were drawn into the conflict. Some were swayed by Horus' charisma and promises of power and glory, while others remained loyal to the Emperor and fought to protect the Imperium from the traitors. One of the first legions to join Horus was the Word Bearers. They had long harbored resentment towards the Emperor and saw Horus' rebellion as an opportunity to strike back at him. Led by their Primarch, Lorga Aurelian, the Word Bearers quickly pledged their allegiance to Horus and began spreading his message of rebellion throughout this sector. Another legion that joined Horus was the Death Guard, led by their Primarch Mortaion. The Death Guard had always been a grim and dour legion, and they were drawn to Horus' promise of a new order where strength and brutality would be rewarded. Mortaion saw the Emperor's regime as weak and corrupt, and he believed that only Horus had the strength to lead the galaxy into a new age. But not all legions were swayed by Horus' promises. Some, like the Salamanders and the Raven Guard, remained loyal to the Emperor and fought alongside Tycho and the Imperial Fists. The Salamanders, in particular, were known for their unyielding loyalty and bravery, and they became a symbol of hope and resistance for those who opposed Horus. As the war raged on, more and more legions were drawn into the conflict. Some, like the Iron Warriors and the Night Lords, remained neutral, refusing to take sides in the conflict. Others, like the Alpha Legion, played both sides, manipulating events behind the scenes to achieve their own ends. In the end, it was a war that would tear the galaxy apart, pitting brother against brother and legion against legion. But amidst the chaos and destruction, a few shining lights remained. Legions like the Salamanders and the Imperial Fists fought with honor and courage, determined to protect the Imperium from the traitors and ensure that the Emperor's vision of a better future would survive.
So that was the first setting of the tournament, which was Legions in Revolt. And from that, as the results, caused this story. So what I try and do to add a bit of narrative flavour into my tournaments is put a story to set a base, and then whatever happens in that tournament affects the following narrative story to build onto the tournament. That's what we'll listen to now.
006-053.M31. Amidst the chaos of the Horus Heresy, an unexpected and pivotal figure emerged from the shadows. Archmagos Prime 01001001001110011111111111111111111 known locally as Jason, had long maintained a position of neutrality, primarily concerned with the pursuit of knowledge and technological advancement. However, as the conflict raged on and the stakes grew ever higher, he realized that the future of humanity hung in the balance. Archmagos Jason had a deep understanding of the intricate machinery that powered the Imperium, and he knew that if Horus and his traitor forces were not stopped, the Imperium would crumble into chaos. Thus, he made the decision to intervene, forging an unlikely alliance with Captain Erun Tycho and the Imperial Fists. Their collaboration was born out of necessity and a shared commitment to the Emperor's vision. Together, they formulated a daring strategy that would become a turning point in the war. Archmagos Jason provided invaluable technological insight and innovation, allowing the Imperial Fists to reinforce their defenses and adapt their tactics. As Horus forces pushed forward with relentless determination, it became clear that the traitor War Master had underestimated the resilience and resourcefulness of his loyalist adversaries. The loyalist Archmagos had devised a cunning counterattack plan, leveraging the very technology and weaponry that the Mechanicus had developed over millennia. In a climactic battle on the strategically vital world of Verdran 6, Captain Tycho, bolstered by the Archmagos' innovations, led a resolute defense against the traitor onslaught. The skies were ablaze with the fury of war, and the ground shook with the power of titanic clashes between the Space Marine legions. In a pivotal moment, the Loyalist forces unleashed a devastating technological weapon, a supercharged void shield generator of Archmagos Jason's design. The traitor fleet, in its arrogance, had never encountered such advanced technology, and the shield held fast against their bombardment. Horus, realizing the danger he faced, was forced to order a tactical retreat. With this victory, the tide of the Horus Heresy began to turn. Archmagos Jason's brilliant tactical and technological contributions continued to play a crucial role in the Loyalist cause, allowing them to push the traitors back further and further. The Loyalist forces rallied around this unlikely hero, seeing in him a symbol of unwavering loyalty and innovation. However, the heresy was far from over, and many more battles would be fought before the galaxy could hope for peace. But Archmagos Prime Jason's intervention had given the Loyalists renewed hope and a glimmer of victory amidst the darkness of the heresy. Horus knew that the fate of the Horus Heresy hinged on a single weapon, the formidable and enigmatic weapon, a devastating artifact of immense power. This weapon was rumored to have the potential to tip the balance of the war irrevocably in favor of its possessor, and Horus was determined to harness its capabilities. However, the location of the weapon was a closely guarded secret, buried deep within the forbidden archives of the Alpha Legion. The secretive and enigmatic Alpha Legion, renowned for their mastery of espionage, subterfuge, and unconventional warfare, held the key to finding and securing the weapon. It was said that they had infiltrated every corner of the Imperium, their operatives hidden in plain sight, ready to strike when the time was right. Horus understood that to acquire Archmagos Prime Jason's weapon, he needed the cooperation of the Alpha Legion. Their skill in covert operations was unparalleled, and they were the only ones who could navigate the intricate web of secrets surrounding the weapon. To enlist their aid, he sent a delegation led by the cunning and charismatic Alpha Legion Primarch, Alpharius Omegon. Alpharius Omegon, shrouded in mystery and deception, arrived on Horus' flagship with an air of calculated unpredictability. He met with the War Master in the dimly lit chambers reserved for clandestine meetings, their voices barely rising above a whisper. Horus made his case, emphasizing the immense power of this weapon and how it could shift the course of the heresy definitively in their favor. He spoke of the glory and dominion that awaited the traitor legions if they possessed such a weapon. Alpharius Omegon listened intently, betraying nothing of their true thoughts. After a tense silence, Alpharius Omegon finally spoke, their voice tinged with ambiguity. They agreed to help Horus secure the Archmagos Prime Jason's weapon but laid out their conditions. The Alpha Legion would require additional support from certain legions known for their prowess in covert and shadow warfare. Horus, desperate for the weapon and aware of the Alpha Legion's intricate network of spies, agreed to their terms. Alpharius Omegon departed, leaving behind a shroud of uncertainty. In the shadows, the Alpha Legion went straight to work reaching out to the Night Lords, masters of terror and sabotage, and to the Raven Guard, experts in stealth and guerrilla warfare. Together, this clandestine alliance set in motion a plan to infiltrate the heavily fortified world of Verdran 6, where the weapon was rumored to be hidden. The stage was set for a shadow war unlike any other in the annals of the Horus Heresy, where the forces of treachery and deception would collide with those of loyalty and covert resistance. The fate of the weapon, and with it, the destiny of the heresy, hung in the balance, concealed within the murky depths of subterfuge and hidden agendas. The fate of the weapon is in your hands. Which side will you take and who will become victorious? Seize the...
And that is the tournament story for Tournament 2, the Shadows of Loyalty. I think it's going to be set. Next part of the video, I'm going to show all what happened in the previous tournament that led to the second part of this story. Let's have a look. Be nice to see some pictures, some results, and a little bit of live footage from there.
Hello and welcome to the Horus Heresy. Seize the initiative. Very loud in here. Got a tournament set up. Got loads of players, loads of setups. Let's go and have a look to see how everyone is. Imperial Fists and Salamanders, Death Guard, and some, well, we don't know really. It could be Traitor, could be Loyalists, we don't know. Whoa, Dark Angels, I heard of Dave, Warlock Gaming. Alpha Legion, and Imperial Fists. Sons of Horus, and some dirty Mechanicum.
Militia, human stuff.
Ah, Militia, there's Bill. Oh, and Salamanders, sorry. Should be able to tell, really, considering
Everything's on fire already.
all that shields and loads of fire coming towards the. We got Mechanicum versus Mechanicum. Get that grudge match out straight away. Loyalist and Traitor. And then a Militia, or Solar Auxiliary. And a heavily converted militia army, which is really funky.
Very outlandish.
I like it. Outlandish militia. And there we are. This is first round. Join on the Best Coast pairing app, and you'll be able to see more. I'll take photos, put it all on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and on YouTube. So do follow. Wish us luck. It's going to be a good game.
Let's have a look at some of the photos. So we've got a round. I can't remember what round these are from, but let's see. They're all a bit mixed, but who doesn't love going some Heresy models? These are some beautiful Alpha Legion. And Sons of Horus drop podding in. Mech versus Imperial Fifth. That was a tough game there. Dark Angels lining up. Yeah, it's 2 Scorpiuses. Great line of sight there. Death Guard versus Iron Warriors. And Valken just charging in there, as you do. So let's have a look at what happened previously in round 1 for the CZ Initiative, Horus Heresy, Legions of Revolt. So my pairings are slightly different just to fill with the narrative of the game. So I put all the Alliance players together and all the Heresy players together, and then they picked one by one what type of player, what type of army or legion that they would play against. No lists were open at this stage. This is purely intel. This is like you going into the battle. You know who's turning up, but you don't know what with. So it led to quite some interesting combinations, which I'll speak about. So first one was Sam beat Bill, James beat Richard, Reichardt beat Tom, and this was a really interesting one because Reichardt plays he did play at this event a very tank heavy Imperial Fists, and the Legion player I could hear going, do you know what, I could take out Imperial Fists because he'll have no anti-tank because they all focus on bolters. So it was really interesting having that dynamic of what you think you're going to come against and actually completely against that. We had Dan Dyer with Dark Angels against James's Death Guard, and then we had Jason Mechanicum versus Barry with his Mechanicum. Very different armies, but similar at the same time. Jason had the more of the bigger knights, but Barry had more of the little knight support. And guard, heavy infantry against Solar Auxiliary, heavy tank based with Athena. And so we are there. So that was round 1. Let me know what you think. Interesting game, loads of points. But as you can see, you know, Heresy plays this great thing of some of the games are only won by 1 point, and some of them are not won by, you know, James and Scott. It's like 1 point, and that was it. Heresy leads to this. It's fantastic. There's very little turn 1 off the table, in my opinion, and at my events. Everyone always asks me about the competitive level of lists. I say it's a tournament, but still remember you got 3 hours. I don't want you, 1, getting tabled by turn 1, but also 2, tabling your opponent by turn 1, because you got to look at each other for the next 2.5 hours and you know, waiting around, which is not a good feeling. So, you know, it's got a competitive edge, but I want an army to look like an army on the field. And players know that, and I think Heresy players know that as well. So that's round 1.
Hello, round 2 is up and we are sweating in here. It is a hot day down in Kent and it is interesting, loads of mix. Mechanicum versus Mechanicum was a foot slog, took the full 3 hours of the game to decide a winner. Very close game. It was Traitor Mechanicum, Traitor and then Loyalist Mechanicum. Was fun to watch. Let's go and have a look at the table and see how everyone's getting on. Oh, he's showing his strength of his Colts. Mechanicum and Death Guard. Yeah, you can do. There's Alpha Legion foul flanking with his troops. It's like the opposite of the opposite here. Of tanks versus guard, but guard infantry based, which I really like.
I just need to go up to tank and throw melter.
It's good. Melter bombs are going to get you. Yeah, that's a good shout. We've got Battle of the Green Table of Salamanders versus Sons of Horus.
Heavy flamer action. Overwatch the Pyroblast.
Oh,
Twice, so that is 16 so far.
only 16.
And then I'll leave one out because I think it was 35. This charge may have been a mistake.
Ah,
And then 16 again, so 32 armor saves. Just 32? Just 32.
only 32. So this Artificer armor going to tank all 32?
Probably not. It's a hot flamer. So I'm going to get 32 dice out and then I'll roll a few at a time because I will eventually go on to the Artificer. Yeah. So this is probably them dead, isn't it? So that's 12. I'm hanging on from this unit, so 20. Got some working.
Is this your Reavers, isn't it?
Reavers are in there.
Ah, spoiler swap. Oh.
Gold price went down in terms of 32, sorry, 32, yeah. Right, it's this lot, I'm just going to roll a handful at a time. Yeah, are these? So 1 dice. And he's just gone all 3 ups, yeah? These are 3 ups at the moment, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5 die.
Wall of Death coming in.
6 die. That was a bad roll.
Yeah.
10 die. 13 die. That's
13.
you make it in. Well, I make it in. And now I'm going to get absolutely wrecked in combat.
There's a lot of death.
You roll for a charge.
Mechanicum versus some traitor / loyal scum with Dark Angels.
You're not decided.
Top table at the moment. Imperial Fists, Solar, Auxiliary, a lot of rusts. And not many bolters from the Infist armor. So that's everything. That's round 2. Do follow us on the results on the best player in Cat. And we'll go from there. 3 hours around. It's going to be good.
He doesn't like a character on Spartans, just to know that he's there. Charging his Sense Guard. Dark Angels against Mechanicum. It was a brutal game. Never going to go well with Mechanicum that close. Imperial Fists is against Guard, but took a different approach on a type of customization. It was really clever. A lot of tanks. Really empty on this field because everyone's like deep stroking reserve. Round 2, Reichardt right in the lead. To be fair, it looked really tough at the start because Athena's guard army is all mech, loads of Lehman Rust, but unfortunately just got whittled down. Having things as a squadron and tanks has massive advantages, but when you're getting a lot of shots, and I think the key player for this was Leviathan with a double storm cannon, was just tearing things up with Sunder and rendering, and able to return fire as well. It was deadly. And we have Dark Angels versus the Mechanicum list, really good army. Both had fun, really good game to play. He had Sam against James Scott. This was Dark Angel, Sons of Horus, and what was it? Salamanders. Couldn't even think then. Really good game, really fun to watch there. Then we had Alpha Legion tank against infantry guard. Unfortunately, Sullivan did get a little bit annihilated on that. It was a tough game. Round 2 proved to be a little bit more one-sided than expected. Barry Mechanicum just destroying Marines left, right and centre with a lot of plasma, and Bill losing to Richard there. What did Richard play? I can't remember. Iron Warriors, there we go. Remember. Really good on there. So that was round 2. As you can see, it is competitive there. Big wins, big points for some teams, and they needed it going into the final stage of round 3.
Sorry, Bill.
This guy's getting hit back into the Stone Age. Fadouche.
Tolkien has just killed 6.
Fadouche. 3. Smack 4. Skadoosh 5. Thwomp 6.
Maybe the fire drakes are a bit overkill. They're not even going in.
Final photos of the day. They didn't last long, those ogres. Mechanicum game was just great to see. With Arab, Desert Phil, the Guard, Infantry there. Good list. It's 2 Leviathans and Dark Angel, beautifully painted by Alpha Legion, and dice to match. Getting charged by Imperial Fists. And then a lot of smoke. That's what happened there. Round 3 as follows. It was really some tight games, and most games went to the final turn, and it could have swung either way. Top table, Rykard and Jason. Unfortunately, so many saves from Mechanicum. Rykard just couldn't get the kills. Jason had a great game and great tactics there. Something you don't see, especially in this type of mission, was a draw with Sons of Horus and Alpha Legion tanks. It was a really close game, 4-4. Good on there. Barry Mechanicum just had awesome firepower, could kill Marines left, right and centre, and for Dave from Warzone, Warlock couldn't really do anything in there. Athena come up stuck against some Bernie Salamanders there, taking 1-9, and Richard had a good win against Death Guard. Now Sullivan wasn't playing, this was actually me. I took over with my Salamanders as a step in because unfortunately Sullivan was feeling ill that day. It was incredibly hot, and tried to get as much drinks down people as possible, but unfortunately Sullivan just wasn't feeling well and just had to step out of the tournament on the last round. Me and Bill from also had a great game. And unfortunately Guard do not play, well they do play well with Vulcan. I took Primarch. I was that guy. I don't know why. Vulcan. Funkel's hammer, which was just deadly. It was so deadly. He's led the placings as well. We had Jason, 3 wins. It tells you the battle reports, which is quite cool on here when you end the tournament. So Jason win. Scott, for Sons of Horus, comes second. Got that draw, which managed it. Barry third. Imperial Fists fourth. Salamanders fifth. With Sam, who's coming again to this tournament. Richard in next tournament. Richard, Iron Warriors. Tom seventh, and David with Dark Angels. Sullivan 9th. Athena 10th. James, poor James, we didn't have a good run of him, but not as bad as Bill with his beautiful guard or militia. He just got absolutely devastated so quickly. But that's the pleasure of playing guard and their flexibility, but also they're very weak. But that was the placings. Let's have a look at other things and see what's coming up. Here we go. That is everything from Shadows of Loyalty, the tournament, the story, and the recap of the previous tournament as well. Hosting next one on the 25th. If you don't get a chance, I'm live on SM Battle Reports on their Heresy sort of guest appearance. My slot is at 9:30, which I'm incredibly grateful to get into. So if you're watching this afterwards, please go back, watch everyone else, but especially go back to where I am. Please like, comment, all of that on there to support their channel, but to also support me getting on there. Incredibly grateful for us. Please like, subscribe, all of that jazz. And if you like this type of content, please comment and tell me what you want to see in the future and what type of things you'd like to see more going forward regarding the Heresy tournament. It's going to be great. We've got some really interesting terrain, great prizes. Let's see how it's going to go. I can't wait for it. Shadows of Loyalty, next tournament. Look after yourself and stay safe. Happy hobbying.